Sri Lanka's breathtaking coastline has long captured the imagination of travellers around the globe. In this final chapter of our Sri Lankan journey, we venture along its spectacular southwestern shores. We explore over 500 years of trade and colonial legacy at Fort Galle, then drift into the tangled beauty of the Madu River's islands and mangrove caves.
Next, we discover the vital work being done to protect sea turtles at a conservation center in Ahungalla. Then it's time to wind down on one of the island's most stunning beaches, catching an unforgettable sunset over Bentota's golden sands.
We round out our journey in the bustling capital Colombo, soaking in its rich history, dynamic cityscape, and mouth-watering cuisine. Don't miss this final leg of our epic Sri Lankan adventure.
Our story resumes from our previous video after ascending from the misty highlands of Ella through Yala, Sri Lanka's largest national park, to the sun-drenched southern coast.
We pass by the iconic site of stilt fishermen, a unique Sri Lankan tradition believed to have originated during World War II due to food shortages and overfishing in conventional fishing spots. We soon arrive at a port city steeped in colonial history.
Coral, that's crazy.
Because there's a coral reef in the other side.
Yep.
And they use granite, and they use clay, and that sometimes some walls they used to have like wooden things like coconut trees, some other palm trees.
Yep.
Coconut trees also they used to make this before.
So we're in the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Galle Fort, and the name Galle actually goes back to its Portuguese origins. One of the theories is that Gallo or rooster was the name that they gave the area here. The other theory, of course, being the local theory. It goes back to one of the names of a place to store their cows. But the first Europeans to settle this area here were the Portuguese. They arrived in 1505, and by 1588 they'd taken over the whole bay here and established the foundations of the port. One of the interesting things is they assumed the only rebellion would come from the land. So you see all the cannons behind me here are facing towards the land. But in 1647, we had the Dutch that arrived here, and in the 1650s, they ended up taking over the fort here, and they ended up basically expanding on it. So most of what we are going to see today is in fact a Dutch fortress, but there are some of the original Portuguese foundations in the area here. The actual place itself is a 3-kilometer length fortress that we're going to walk partially along the way, and it's a 90-acre area, so it's quite a large area to cover. But yeah, we'll take in some of the sights and see some of the history of the area. So we've got the famous Galle, or Galle as it's pronounced in the English, cricket ground here. It's a very popular cricket ground. Apparently the British love playing here, which is when they come and play the test matches, they go here, and all the locals, rather than paying the entrance fee to enter into the cricket ground, they actually come up and sit up on the walls here of the fortress to watch the cricket games, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, this was destroyed back in 2004 during the massive tsunamis that came through the area, so we had international cricket stars like Shane Warne come and donate money to, restoring the cricket ground and some of the surrounding area as well. Of course, the Dutch were not the last Europeans to come and take over Sri Lanka. In 1797, the British arrived here, and by the 1850s, they had signed a treaty with the Sri Lankans to have governance of the country itself. In 1883, this clock tower was built here. So this is sort of like the British mark on the area. So we do have remnants of Portuguese, Dutch, and British monuments in this area here. alive fort. There's actually a school, a church, a mosque in the background there. People do actually live up in this area here. And the fort actually withstood the tsunamis back in 2004. It actually held up so well that the water funneled through between the fort and the city itself and led right in, as I mentioned before, to the cricket ground and destroyed much of the lower parts, inner parts of the city. So this building here was used by the Portuguese and the Dutch to actually keep slaves and house slaves. By the time the British had taken over it and slavery had basically been abolished, the British used this to store magazines for their guns during World War II. So this was also used as a functional fortress during the Second World War. The reason why the Portuguese first came here initially is because they'd heard rumors through a lot of the Arabic conflicts that they'd had of the spices that came from this area here. So one of the first explorers from the west was Ibn Bentota from Morocco that came here in 1342, but there are actually mentions of this area all the way back to the time of Ptolemy during the Roman Empire. So it actually goes back quite a long way in regards to its history of trade with the west. Oldest mosque in Sri Lanka. One of. So the original lighthouse here was built in 1886 and unfortunately it caught fire and was rebuilt in 1938 there. But it is the longest running continual lighthouse in this spot in all of Sri Lanka.
Among Galle's treasures is the National Maritime Museum, housed in a centuries-old Dutch warehouse from 1671. Since 1992, it's preserved Sri Lanka's deep maritime legacy with shipwreck relics, ancient fishing tools, and insights into the island's vibrant marine life.
How was that? That was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is a really cool area.
It's awesome. So this is the Galle or the Galle Fort, and yeah, we really enjoyed our time here. So we're about to go on a boat safari on the Madu River here. There's 64 islands on the river. We're going to see about 21 of those islands, including a cinnamon island and also some Buddhist temples that are out on the island as well. So let's go check it out. We'll see some wildlife hopefully too.
We set off along the Madu River, where a maze of mangroves and mirror-like channels weave through a natural paradise. This river safari reveals secret islets, winding natural tunnels, and a lush ecosystem.
With a traditional prawn farm behind us there. This reminds me a lot of the backwaters in Kerala, which we're going to explore when we go up to India. I did it quite a few years ago and it's bringing back some memories already. Enjoying it so far, chick? the bridge behind me there is more than 70 years old and connects two islands. This one here with the largest island that we're about to go on that has 53 families up there. They have a school and also a temple as well. I believe this is the Buddhist temple we're going to go check out.
You can separate here.
Yep.
That for Maha.
Maha.
Maha mean big.
Big.
Dua.
Yeah.
Dua mean we can meaning of the island.
Island, so big island.
Bigger island.
Yep.
We call Madua.
Okay.
Madua mean after a long time they will call Mahadua. That now we are calling for short Madua. I will give you cloth with your shoulders.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
And this is Sri Vikramasinghe Purana
Sri Vikramasinghe Purana Vihara.
Vihara. Okay. And Purana means old.
Did we take off our shoes
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. And it's got the standing Buddha, which is the rarest position of the Buddhas.
At the heart of the wetlands lies the Sri Vikramasinghe Temple, located on Madua Island, a serene Buddhist sanctuary accessible only by a 338-meter pedestrian bridge or boat. The secluded location on the Madu Ganga provides a peaceful retreat for reflection, surrounded by the gentle sounds of nature.
Ready for the Cinnamon Island, Miranda.
First layer used for the compost, second layer make the cinnamon stick. There are not machines, only by hand. Cinnamon, a small plantation grew up the 3 years, 3 after that cutting, coming another again, cutting the 1 year. After that one branch continued 20 years ago. Wow. Easy to remove the second skin. This one, cinnamon. Only 1 layer cinnamon, after that wood is firewood.
Okay. 10 days without sun to dry it out.
Same like this.
Oh yeah, up there.
Smells good.
Oh, yum.
Ooh, it smells a lot stronger when it's dried out.
Yeah, it's like a wall of rain just coming. It's just about to hit, and it's hitting. Woo. That's crazy. Like it was no rain at all, and like you could just see the wall coming towards us. That was pretty cool. Some cinnamon tea in the Cinnamon Island. We did buy some cinnamon incense. We know that they probably cost a lot more than what you'd normally, but you know, the guy did show us the process and whatnot, so it's kind of like a little bit of a tip for him as well. And yeah, we got some incense.
It's raining.
Yeah, I know. It's like no rain right here and then rain just there.
It's also raining.
Yeah, rain there, no rain there. That's crazy. Look at that. It's so cool. Soaked now. I'm loving it. I think it's great.
We return as the weather begins to clear. Nearby, we travel to the Ahungalla Sea Turtle Centre to learn about the plight of sea turtles in the area and the conservation efforts to ensure hatchlings survive for generations to come.
So we're at the Ahungalla Turtle Research Center. They got a little hatchery over here, and these little turtles here, these were born this morning? Yeah, this morning. So they keep them here for 1 or 2 days, and then they take them down to the beach and release them, and it gives them a better chance of, you know, survival if they've given them a couple of days to hatch, because obviously there's a lot of issues with them on the beaches around here with people around. So we've got an albino turtle here. He's 1 year old. He's been here for a year. They don't release him in the wild because unfortunately they don't survive and they get burnt by the sun and eaten really quickly because they're easily spotted. But 1 in 1 million survive of the albino. So this olive Rigby turtle here only has 1 flipper left. So it will stay here. It can't go back into the wild. It would not survive in the wild, but it's 15 years old. Look at that. That's sad. Shark attack, they say. These green turtles here, all injured from fishing nets. The nylon in the fishing nets is so harsh. They have such soft and sensitive skin, and it's basically discarded fishing nets. People discard all their fishing gear into the ocean, and unfortunately sea turtles get caught up in it. It's really sad. So this hawksbill turtle was rescued from the wildlife trade. These ones are the most highest demand for the black market, the hawksbill turtles, just because they're beautiful shells there and people use them for jewelry and earrings and whatnot, which is completely illegal in Sri Lanka, but still, you know, people are out there trying to do this sort of thing, especially in other Southeast Asian and South Asian countries as well. So we mentioned this when we went to our sea turtle place in Queensland, Australia a couple of years back, but one of the big problems is plastic bags. Sea turtles mistake them for jellyfish. And this one here, it's so bloated with plastic bags, it can't actually, you know, sink down, and it just basically just floats there, sits there all the time. It's really, really sad, actually. Yeah, plastic's terrible, these creatures.
You can see this one is a loggerhead.
Where's the back?
This one is a loggerhead, sir. Loggerhead.
Oh, loggerhead, sorry.
There are more strong turtles in the world, this one.
The oldest?
Yeah, more.
Yeah. How old are these ones?
This one is 25 years old.
25.
Yeah, that one is 12 years old.
And how old can they get?
Sorry?
How old can they get?
They can grow up maximum to 200 years.
200 years. They can live up to 200 years.
Maximum.
A short drive north brings us to our beachfront haven at Moragalla Beach. After a day of exploration, it's the perfect spot to unwind. The beach comes alive at dusk, just as the heat softens and the sky turns to gold.
So we're at Moragalla Beach here in Sri Lanka's western province. Beautiful just before sunset out here on the beach. I'm gonna take my first official dip in the Indian Ocean. Stunning, look at this. I can't think of a more picturesque place right now. In the water, the temperature is absolutely phenomenal. All right, I think I'm gonna have to just do it. I'm just gonna have to jump under. All right, ready. Beautiful. That water temperature is amazing.
Back on shore, we meet a new friend, hunting for crabs in the sand, just as the most breathtaking sunset of our journey begins to paint the Indian Ocean in fire and light. It's moments like this that define Sri Lanka's West Coast magic.
Dinner at the Palms Resort was a feast to remember. If there's one constant on this trip, it's that we've eaten very well, and tonight was no exception.
On our journey north to Colombo, we passed the Kendi Vihara Temple, a pilgrimage location for Buddhists to visit the 50-metre or 160-foot tall golden Buddha statue.
So we've arrived into the capital of Sri Lanka, into Colombo. We passed before a place known as the Donkey Palace, which I was then later told that was actually the Parliament House. And that's just what the local people call it. In the background there, we can see the famous Lotus Tower, iconic to the skyline of Colombo, which is actually a telecommunications tower. And we're walking right now through the Independence Square. Now, you may recognize this building behind me here from Kandy, where we spoke about the original one where the independence of Sri Lanka took place, the treaty with the British, and this is basically a replica of that. So the independence of Sri Lanka took place in 1948. This was actually built in the 1950s, not too long afterwards, to celebrate the independence. And as I said before, it's a replica of the one in Kandy where they actually signed the original treaty with the British for British control back in the 1800s. And this is where they do a lot of their ceremonies here and celebrate their independence days.
On our way into the city center, we visit Colombo's oldest Hindu temple with its intricate adornments and vibrant colors. It sits within the site of the iconic Lotus Tower at 356 meters or 1,168 feet. Our accommodation is located in the historic Fort Colombo district of the city.
Ceylon curry puff.
And you've got yourself there.
Sweet potato roti with jackfruit puree.
Nice.
My appetizer.
And I've seen this on the menu a few times. This is the hot buttered cuttlefish. So it's like calamari. Enjoy. Actually, show us what it looks like. Give us a good.
It's like pancakes almost.
Yeah, it's nice. Let's do it.
That was good.
And this is one of the top-rated curry places in Colombo. This calamari is phenomenal. So we've got the traditional pork curry, the Ceylon pork curry with steamed rice, and you got the tempura battered prawns, is it?
Tempura battered prawns with citrus butter. I think this is like a citrus iced tea shot.
Oh wow, okay, interesting.
Some mayo. Yeah.
Nice, lovely, enjoy. How is it? Delish?
Yeah.
Mine's amazing too. I just love like the use of the types of spices they have here, like cinnamon, black pepper. Very delicious.
Following what may have been the tastiest meal of our entire trip, we wandered past a nearby courtyard, drawn in by the sound of live music. One drink turned into an evening with a phenomenal live band. If you know who they are, please share it in the comments. Here's a little taste of their set. A perfect finale to 2 unforgettable weeks exploring the wonders of Sri Lanka.
So it's our last day here in Sri Lanka. We're in the city of Colombo, the capital of Sri Lanka. We've had an amazing 2 weeks. How was it, Miranda?
Oh, it's been incredible.
Absolutely
Exceeded
amazing.
my expectations for sure.
I think it's just such a tranquil place. You know, I don't know what my expectations were. I know I'd been through India before, not that I'm comparing the two, but you know, I kind of had a bit of a different expectation. But you know, the people here are just so friendly and lovely and hospitable.
And so lovely.
It's been such a good trip. We have to give a shout out to Boudica from BH Lanka Tours, our guide. He's been an incredible host for the last 2 weeks here. He even gave us a little parting gift.
I know.
Why don't you tell them about the parting gift?
So he gave us a cute Sri Lanka mug with like different Sri Lankan sites on it. And he gave us each a Dagobah statue.
A Dagobah statue. And the reasoning and the meaning behind that is we had a little game that we're playing in the car. I don't know if anyone's played the punch buggy game where you see a punch. Yeah, no punch backs. You know, you sort of give them a little tap and say punch buggy. Well, we did the same with Dagobahs, which are the Buddhist relics, the statues and monuments in all the temples. So we played that game and I ended up winning that game.
No, you didn't. He's disqualified because he cheated because he looked on Google Maps where all the Dagobahs were so that he knew where where to spot them.
Controversial.
So technically, it did end with 1918. He did win, but he was disqualified because he admitted that he cheated.
Either way, Boudica said it was a tie, gave us both a prize, and we're going to enjoy our last day here in Colombo. We're going to go have some brunch right now at the old hospital area where we went last night for dinner. So it's the old Dutch hospital area from the 1700s. And then we're going to get into an Uber and make our way out to the airport. So we'll be leaving at about lunchtime. So this was the one thing I didn't get to try here in Sri Lanka, and Boudica said I had to try it. This is the kotu, and I've got pork ribbed there, fried pork rib on the kotu, so I'm having this for lunch. Here's Miranda's wrap. It's like a fried wrap. It looks really good. And this is phenomenal. This is really good.
Next up, join us as we head to the Indian subcontinent, beginning in the vibrant metropolis of Mumbai, India's biggest and busiest city.
Hey guys, just a quick message. We really hope you enjoyed this video. Many hours of work goes into every single video we make, and we try to make them to the very best of our ability.
We take the time to choose the best travel destinations and the best adventure activities so that we can provide you with top-tier content.
However, the only way our channel can grow is with your help. If you enjoy our videos, please leave a comment letting us know, along with any questions you may have, or if there's anything you'd like to see more of.
Interactions in the comments section, along with liking our videos, is what gets us exposure on YouTube, along with sharing this video. If there's anyone you think would enjoy our videos, please share and help us grow global travel stories. We thank you for your support.